Hello, everyone. This is the first episode of the Only Messin podcast. For some contextual background, I guess, before we get started, I think we started making this podcast as an excuse to kind of meet up on a weekly basis to have a chat. Because often what we find is that we play video games, we don't really talk to each other. So I set up this kind of initiative. Well, first it was Kieran's idea to have a podcast on a weekly basis so we can have a chat. We've done like few episodes before this, but we haven't published many of them. They kind of remain in my hard drive. They're not really anything that people would deem fit to listen to.
Probably stay on the hard drive.
Yeah,
they won't be going anywhere.
Yeah, there'll be like some memorabilia or some like blackmailing stuff that'll use when you're 44 and like a physics job. But anyway, the podcast, in the podcast, there's Owen, Malali, Ollie,
Hello.
Kieran,
Hi.
and myself, Bartek Koss. For some background, Owen, we've all met in De La Salle. Owen and I currently study in the Netherlands. Ollie and Kieran are back in Ireland. Therefore, we're recording this through like a video call thing. But so the audio quality may be shite. But we apologise for that because unfortunately we're broke students and we're not millionaires, so we can't afford to pay for like some podcasting recording stuff.
May as well tell the truth. We're actually doing this through 4 cups and a really long piece of string.
We've been collecting string for the last 2 months. We're getting my Polish granny has been knitting it together. But it's anyway.
What is
we
this
also
guest do you speak of?
Yeah, just having to explain what the podcast is to my Polish granny. To anyone who's wondering like why I have an Irish accent, that might be listening. I doubt there's anyone that's going to listen to apart from like our friend circle, and maybe our parents might click onto that and be like, "Oh sure, he's doing that fucking radio stuff now on the YouTube."
Sure. It's good for the mental health, isn't it, with this fucking lockdown?
Get out there, lads. Get out there, sure.
The next one probably, you never know. Hey, Jimmy, you never know, right?
Huh?
Just mentioned in passing conversation.
Like 10 years later, we're just being paid like 6 figures to be on coke around children around Christmas time. That'd be just like, yeah, what's the new
Social distance! Social distance! Dropping F-bombs.
Yeah.
Go on,
But
Martin.
anyway, I'd just like to, before we actually properly start, I'd like to thank Grace McGrath for doing the artwork or the cover for the podcast, and also Colin Mullally for doing the music. You can find him at Trench Voyage on social media, SoundCloud, Instagram, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's it. Was that a pretty good smooth intro? I think that was
excellent.
pretty
Well
Yeah, that
good.
was
Like,
great. So
okay.
we'll see you next time. That was great.
done. That was great stuff.
Yeah. But also,
Bartek, what is the topic of discussion today?
The topic of discussion today is naughty videos and how we came across them in a secondary school. So for some background,
How
and still
wide?
continue to come across them thanks to some people, one person in particular.
One person in particular, yeah.
yeah, that shall be unnamed. That kind of often spams us with some like
Good old PJ.
with a little Snapchat.
Spams is a bit heavy, but like, you know, just the occasional
Whoa, the occasional. Whoa.
It's like SpongeBob's fucking net, fucking all reliable, always there when you need him.
But when did you come across those videos for the first time? Because like I know most of us like came across those videos in De La Salle, where we all met. De La Salle is a school, secondary school in Ireland, for some context. It has 1,200 boys between the ages of 12 and 19, packed with testosterone, locked inside a old school building from 9 till 4. It's a heaven on earth. It's quite a beautiful place that shaped us.
Yeah.
Heaven on earth.
Yeah.
Heaven on earth is it?
It's nothing compared to The Rock, though. But...
Oh no, man.
Oh my god. I don't even know how you would explain that video other than it's
There's
like
too much
it's
context. There's too
it's
much
like
to
how
go.
the CIA uses Westlife music to torture like fucking they capture like that is literally the same level that video is on. If you want to find that, just look up Black Rock. Was it like a film festival?
Concert. Yeah, it's like the Black Rock concert or something.
Yeah, and just look up that video, and I'm sorry in advance. That is a messed up video. That is something that shouldn't be viewed by anyone.
Yeah.
Why
It's
is it
like a
messed up?
concert. It says like 2 hours long, but it's like the first 3 minutes of it are just I don't know. It's just there's just everything's wrong with it. Like it's just like these rock lads going like Black Rock, just like posh out. Like I know every Irish person has probably fucking heard of it, but yeah, it's just just stereotypically posh, and they just made a Kieran, what would you even fucking call it? Like, I don't even know.
A kind of a glorified circle jerk going is the only way to describe it. Like they're going on like they've been in the trenches, and they're like Black Rock is the only place that's been affected by the COVID lockdown, and like how they can't just be at the Rock and become
Cast out because of a COVID lockdown.
Yeah, and to quote Black Rock boys, now men have to just suffer and lose their final years.
Oh my god.
It's one of the most entitled things you'll ever fucking listen to, without a doubt.
Yeah,
It's
which
a
ties in
bunch of,
nicely to the other. Oh, sorry. Right.
Oh no, I was just going to say that just for people who don't know what Black Rock is, it's a boarding school in Dublin.
Posh part of
Is it a
Dublin.
boarding school?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think so, right?
Do believe so.
Yeah,
Full
that's
of
why they were
boys,
cast out by the COVID lockdown.
So anyway, fucked up videos. When was your first encounter with a properly potentially scarring one?
Secondary school.
Go
Like
on.
first year. Secondary.
Yeah, secondary school is where it all started. Like,
Where, what, and why?
I think for the most part prior to secondary school, I think my internet presence was quite innocent. For that, like in that degree, like obviously, other websites like the Hulk now, like I discovered them, like, but that's biology, like
That's normal.
Like, do you know what I mean? But no, all those like. I never heard of Live Leak until like I was 13 or 12 or 13. I just came in and like I never thought the videos I would see would start like, "Kieran, come here, you love this." I didn't love it actually. It's just like, what the fuck? Because I just associate videos like that with like the dark web. I was like, that fucking.
yeah.
And next thing, it's just like, oh no, it's just this website Lively. You just go online and look it up, and there it is.
For all to see.
I think the first proper one of just like someone being like maimed properly was just like, I remember I was in just like a carvery pub, right? And next thing, like I was just eating my dinner, right? And next thing, oh, Lally, I love this. Like, yeah, Kieran, same thing, just like, look at this. And next thing, it was just like dick on a chopping board, just like, and I was just like, oh man, I was just like, for an instant, it took me like, I watched it, I kind of didn't know what I saw, and next thing, kind of like as I ate, I was just like, wait, did I actually like? Wait, just like that looked really real. Like, and next thing, I was just like, Matt, I was like, oh, gee, like, was that fucking real? And he was just like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? I was just like,
it's nearly the silent reflection after is worse, because when you see it, you're like, you just have to go, oh, for fuck's sake,
But then it settles in.
And then, so like, say me before a class, I see this video and I have to go, oh, what the fuck, boy, that is so gross. And then I'm sitting in class learning about Seamus Heaney or like whoever, and I'm just sitting there like, I just literally watched like a fucking man like get rolled over by a tank, and I just have to sit with that for the day.
But the very first like gruesome one, I've seen some harmless enough ones when I was like 12 or 13, and typically in the back of a bus from the man who remain unnamed. They were relatively harmless, but the first one, and my instinct was to laugh. it was when me, Owen, and Kieran were on the PlayStation, and Malali goes, "Oh, lads, do you ever see this anti-aircraft gun? They just point at this prisoner, and he just
Oh my
evaporates." And I'm like being 13, 14.
Man, you make me sound like a psychopath.
No. It was just peak curiosity. So obviously,
Well, like, come on.
our curiosity being piqued, we all just went, "Oh, what?" And you were like, "Yeah, it's just on YouTube." But we were like, "Oh, it can't be that bad, so we must be exaggerating." But no, just over in the Middle East, a full-on anti-aircraft is pointed point blank at this man, and all you hear is a loud bang, and there's just nothing in front of you. There's just red mist.
Yeah, it's just I remember that. I was just like, it was on Facebook. I think I found it, and I was just like, oh, like
Can't be that bad.
It was when ISIS were like really in vogue, like, you know,
And they were trendy.
In vogue.
Vogue.
They were really in at that
They
time.
were popping at the time. Nah, fucking, but like, poor lad, like, Jesus. Well, all I can say is like,
Painless.
quick death, like, yeah, honestly, like, you know,
If you had to
Some
look
of,
at
the
it in
stuff,
positive.
some of the stuff they did, like,
It's bad.
it's not lucky, but it's the lesser of like a million other evils they could have given them.
What's the worst one you've ever seen?
I feel like it's also like a weird thing of just like, you know, that's real, and sometimes shit that you see in movies that might be even more gruesome is fictional, and you assume like it looks real, but you know it's fiction, and you don't assume that, kind of like, you don't feel the same way afterwards, you know. But I was just thinking about, like, while you were talking, like, why would people watch such things in is it like kind of like torture porn, some sort of that category of thing?
No,
Like,
I don't think.
I think there's a normal part in most people's brains. It's just they're like, I don't know, they're mildly fascinated by. This makes me sound a bit weird. I don't know. It's just so foreign. It's so morbid curiosity. It's just those kind of actions and death. Really, it's just it's a very fictional thing, and not fictional, but just almost not real in our heads. And seeing it point blank, it does kind of go to a part of your brain, though it may be horrifying. You're like, that little part of your brain kind of goes, well, that's right. Okay, I don't know how quite to process that.
That's the thing, though. Like back years ago, it wasn't too uncommon to see like people getting killed like in real life.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, kids like going like
The Troubles.
Kids going to like a public execution or some shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Like,
I
sure.
guess we're the
It still
exception
happens.
nowadays.
Still happens.
Yeah, it still happens.
I think the best way to sum it up, it's like the concept of a horror movie. Like, you are paying for a film that you've been warned, like, this will make you feel itchy and like scared, but you're like, it's like that thing of like, oh, it's either the thing of like, how bad can it be, or like, even you buying the ticket is just like, you're showing curiosity into like the kind of, do you know what I mean? I don't know how to put it.
No. We get what you're saying. Yeah.
The macabre.
No.
I think that's the word.
Just that desire to see what happens, which is kind of weird, but like, it's true.
I think it like plays on maybe some sort of like a primal fantasy, or fulfilling some sort of need for like gruesomeness. When you think about like it in a primal kind of mentality, way of thinking, there's a lot of people that were that don't have that kind of macabre, and they don't have death or gruesomeness surrounding their lives. But maybe there's some sort of a part of the brain that remains, that kind of wants to feel that angst, or wants to feel threatened. Like, you know, where horror movies with serial killers make you feel like you're hunted. Maybe there's some sort of like a weird attraction to that, in a way that
I kind of get what you're saying.
You want to kind of have that feeling again, like, you know, well, not feel again, but like you want to have some sort of emotion that replaces that, you know, like a simulation of that feeling.
I think it's like that thing of like, okay, normal people are like, oh, I want to see this horror movie because I want to be scared. And then there is that thing of like a serial killer who takes it that step further, and they're like, no, I want to feel that. I want to.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was watching, is it Nightcrawler? Or is
Oh,
that
Night Stalker.
Night Stalker? Nightcrawler is the
No,
movie
no,
with
I
Jake
think
Gyllenhaal.
it's Nightcrawler.
No, that's the one with
Is
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Night Stalker
That
is
kind of is it
documentary,
too.
right?
Like he.
Yeah.
No, Jake Gyllenhaal. That one is like the movie where he's. Do you know? It's literally the cameramen who get the videos on Live Leak, and like they get paid by the news to like get these gruesome shots anyway. But he like sets up his own accident to like get the perfect shot, like, so that kind of adds to it. But no, a Night Stalker, what's his name, Ramirez or something?
Rod, I'm not sure. I think it was something Ramirez is definitely his surname.
Like that is the embodiment of like he did it to anyone. There was no like target when he did it. He just did it to like feel the power, and it eventually caught up to him because he like got lost in like the fancy of being the Night Stalker, and that's eventually like what caused him to get caught. Like, so I think it is that thing of a human desire to want to be like in control or like have someone at your whims. But like serial killers are fucked up. Like I don't want that.
Good to know, man. Good to know you don't want.
I want that on the record. I don't want that.
I don't think any of us want it. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah.
Also, some people get a mild kick, like the same, like you said with the horror movie. Some people, like I personally hate horror movies. Cannot stand. Can't do them. Just can't do them. I'm a pussy. I'm a wimp. I'll be honest with you. I just just can't do them. Yet. The same way someone gets a kick out of watching that, I think it's kind of the same part of the brain when it comes to those.
It's almost an adrenaline rush.
Adrenaline.
I suppose.
That's the word we've been missing the whole time. It's adrenaline, like.
Yeah. But I wonder what
talking
happened.
your body into something. I don't know. Yeah, like you said, Bartek, it's like almost something primal where it's just like you're almost on edge. It's like kind of how like soldiers say that, like, oh, like being in a firefight is like the most like intense or like almost like fun thing, or it's like you're most in the zone when you're just like when you see the stakes are that high, like you're just completely focused on this task of like say like evading the enemy or like just like shooting the enemy. It's that kind of, there definitely is just something hardwired in humans, like 100%.
Yeah. But I wonder, like, on the other side of receiving those videos, there's also like giving out those videos. So let's say the individual that's sharing those videos, why are they sharing that? And especially what's the background or the context behind that in sharing those videos in secondary school? Like, do you get some sort of gratification in result to like popularity status, or is it just like, I don't know, a need for attention?
I think he just enjoyed the almost wind-up factor. I think he just got a proper kick of people going, oh man, what the fuck? Like, I think he just got a good laugh out of that as well, I think.
Yeah.
I think, like, I was looking at an article about, like, recently there was a guy who, like, committed suicide on Facebook Live, right? I think it was, like, at the start of, when was it? Was it the start? No, it was, like, around, like, September or October or something. And there was, like, an article basically written about it. And there was this psychologist who had, like, dealt with, like, stuff like this, and she said that people find it almost therapeutic to share something that's so like fucked up with other people, so like that they're not the only ones who saw that, and they can relate their trauma to someone else, like even if it means traumatizing another person. So it's almost like abuse, like it's kind of fucked up how she described it. And I just thought about it, I was like, fucking hell, that's like fucking deep. Like I was just like, Jesus Christ, like, you know, people you know do that.
But that kind of goes back also to like the serial killer stuff. Like when I don't know, when Kieran, you've watched the documentary about the Night Stalker, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a contributing factor towards why he committed all those crimes is because he had a very bad childhood where he was like abused and sexually assaulted.
Oh.
And like one of the things that happened to him as a child was he was like his father punished him by I think pinning or crucifying him, not like physically as in like putting nails through his hand, but basically like tying him to a cross outside and leaving him outdoors overnight. Jesus. So like that sort of trauma definitely brings around that stuff. But I feel like in talking about that, we're just speculating. We're kind of out of our depth. Definitely be interesting to hear what like a psychologist would say about that. You know, about trauma
Like,
and
how can that not affect you though? Being tied to a fucking cross.
To be fair.
Like, how could that?
Especially if it happened, sound like it happened on a regular basis. Like it's like anything. It's like kind of Stockholm syndrome, where after a while it's like, oh, this is just normal. So when he went out and did it, he probably didn't feel half as much like, I had no guilt and remorse or anything, because he's like, oh, but like, sure, I was fucking tied up and fucking outside overnight, like, so maybe that plays to it as well. I suppose that's like, isn't that like a bar, like a few that like that's the reason they do it, because like they're like fucking nullified to it when they were younger, because they experienced the same stuff.
It's like a kind of like perpetual cycle of like you know, say like a battered society or like a battered family. It would be just like, this is normalized and it continues, and it's just like, that's how, you know, just that's typical how just like cycles of abuse end up, like, you know, just
someone just cracked
open a beer.
Yeah, sorry. I was just like, just on that like deep note, I was just like cracking open.
Like quickly off topic, right? That actually reminds me of like when I was in the Theatre Royal, like, we were watching the show, and it was like a quiet scene, like it was like really serious, and there was like big long pauses, like, do you know what I mean, to like kind of build the tension. And like these two women behind me just decided like now was the time to crack their Sprite Zeros. And all you hear behind me is like the first pause in the dialogue you hear, the second one you hear, and then the third one you finally hear that. And I just sat there, I was like, could you not wait for the music to start?
Yeah. They were definitely winding everything up, like 100%.
Yeah, I love that. A little bit of comedic relief.
Also,
what were you seeing? Sorry.
Kieran, when you were talking about people wanting to share, or was it Owen that was saying people wanted to share a burden or something like that, or the scale, I was sitting with a friend in a bar with my girlfriend, and he was with his girlfriend, and we were both sitting on one side of the table, they were sitting on the other, and he just goes, here, one of the lads sent this into the group chat. Do you want to see it? I was just like, I went, oh wait, is that the rugby group chat? And I went, and he went, yeah. No. I went, here. I immediately went, here. You can fuck off. You're not showing me that. And he just went, no. He went, I promise you, it's fine. I'm like an idiot. I trusted him. We were sitting there, music's blaring, having a great time, and it's Am I able to? Would it be cool with me saying what it was? Because it is the most gruesome thing.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, right.
Go on.
It was a dog.
Oh man.
There was a man tied up all fours, so his feet and his arms were tied up together, and a dog is eating him alive, literally. And he's fucking screaming, and he's fucking screaming. I just went silent. And just looked at my friend. I went, why'd you... And I wasn't even angry, I was just in shock. I went, why'd you show me that? And he went, and he just goes, I just didn't want to be alone, to be honest with you. And then I just went, what? Then I started kicking. I was like, why? Oh, man, that is...
Man, you have a whole group chat to express your...
I was like, it really shook me.
Especially watching a video like that, and all you're hearing in the background of the bar is just...
My girlfriend and his girlfriend chanting away having a good time, and then it's just us two just going, what the fuck? Just on the other end. Just kind of, and then I just went silent, and it shook me for a good hour. I was silent for a good hour. I just went, and then ordered my, I just name dropped there, you might censor that one out. My girlfriend just went, are you okay? He's like, oh, what did he show you? I was like, it's just nothing. It's nothing.
Football.
It was a meme. Don't mind that.
Like Ollie, since you felt bad, you should have been like, oh, like, do you want to see this like video like that?
It's so funny. It is too late. It is too late. I've seen a good few things. That takes it though. It was truly awful. And I still bring it up to him every now and then. I'll say to him, yeah, I'm still kind of a little salty that you showed me that. He went, Yeah, I would be too. And he just would
Well,
both
what-
start laughing.
What group chats propagate? Like, what group chats share that? Because you mentioned the rugby.
It was
group chat, and
of course,
rugby,
rugby's a big one.
rugby
Rugby's a
lads
big
are
one.
just. I don't want to
They had women.
generalize, but they're very
They had women.
Yeah.
They had like hot women with men shitting on, pissing on them. Just videos of them going. Oh, there was all a wide variety of just weird shit that you were just like, I have a few I have a few questions as to how you got access to that. Got to be honest with you there.
That is the real
That's the thing.
question, isn't it? Where
did you get that?
Where did they
Yeah.
come from? Where do they come? Where does the original spawn?
Because then it'll be, I got off this fella, and then it's like, okay, where'd that fella go off? Oh, he got off this fella. I wonder how far back you would go to like, oh yeah, I was just I was on a database. I was there. I was on a database there, sir, over in Colombia. Oh, just it's fucked, man.
But it's not only like rugby group chats. I think there's also like a soccer group.
Nah,
chat
football.
that I heard.
They're all
Like I wasn't exposed to like a lot of like those videos, to be honest, because I didn't have many friends. Cue people being sad. But until like TY, I wasn't like exposed to that much stuff. And like I only realized what Live League was when I was maybe 16, 17. I was like, what's Live League? You know, I thought it was like some news website. To be honest with you, it sounded like one of those like Alex Jones news websites.
Al Jazeera, like.
Yeah. Well, Al Jazeera actually is pretty legit at times.
Man,
I think they have like quite good
that.
videos.
It's unreal.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's gone now.
What's gone now? Sorry, I couldn't hear you there.
No, I was just saying, it's gone now. It's been deleted, I think. Well, I haven't looked for it in years. But there was a subreddit, right? And it's literally called r/watch people die.
I remember you showed me
And
that.
it has over 200. It has, like, again, I haven't looked for it in years, which I'm proud to say. Like, I'm after like, what, 260,000 members.
Jesus.
And that's just people who click the like subscribe button. Like, there's probably more people who are just coming on for a gawk and then they leave. Like, but like the stuff, and like a lot of it's security footage, and I'm like, there's someone in like a job where they have access to cameras, and they're just taking this stuff from work and saying, "Aha, put that up on Reddit now. Get a few likes on that, be some buzz." And like,
yeah, but that like goes so fucking like it starts off with that, and then it goes into like group chats where there's a bunch of young lads sharing pictures of women. Like, you know, the same shit happens. You know, like especially with Discord. What was the stuff about Discord that happened? Like, I don't know, it was like 2-3 months ago.
There was like a whole group sending in pictures, wasn't it? And some of them were underage. Or am I completely wrong in that?
oh, the Dublin group chat.
Yeah, it just doesn't surprise
Yeah,
me.
I think I had something like 200 girls underage, between like 10 fellas. They had this fucking group chat. And like,
it's not right, man.
it's just the only silver lining is it finally brought that shit into like the news properly, and wasn't and there was no bullshit. Well, there was bullshit arguments because people are fucking ignorant. Like, this coming from a man, like, I can't fucking say shit. Like, ain't me. But like, yeah, it was just awful because people were trying to defend him. I remember a fella on Instagram put up on his public story. They knew what they were doing. They knew, like, why were they sending that if they didn't want it to get shown? And it's like
stop saying.
Literally, I'm trying to think of an example. It's like fucking. It's like buying a bag of jellies and then someone going up to you and saying, "Sure, why would you buy them if you weren't going to share them?" It's like, that don't make fucking sense. Like,
yeah,
it's almost like walking out on the street, like, just say, like, with, like, say, like, cash on you, and you get fucking robbed, and it's like, sure, it's your fault.
Why'd you hold it?
Yeah, it's just like, man, I should be able to walk down the fucking street without getting fucking mugged, like, you know what I mean? Same fucking
or
thing.
Even in Cork, like 2 or 3 years ago, those girls, I think.
What happened?
I think it was. I don't know the full details, but I think it involved either assault or rape anyway.
Oh.
And fucking people were going around saying, "Oh, but did you see what she was wearing?"
Nah, you can't.
What the fuck?
No, shut up, man.
It's like, come on. Like, if that's the case, then like men should be wearing fucking tight fit shirts because you look like fucking nonsense in them. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you know, like the fucking, do you know what I mean? Like, they go to the gym and like they're wearing an extra small. It's like actual nonsense alert, like fucking maximum age 16 years old if you want to approach me. Fuck off.
To be fair, that was me when I was 16.
What you were going?
But I grew out of it very quickly. I realised how much of a twat I looked, so I copped on quite quickly.
But all that shit comes through, like, I think secondary school, and especially with us being in, like, for like, I don't know, when did I meet you, Ollie? Because Ollie, you went to a private school from 5th year on. Yeah, TY.
I properly met
private
you.
school.
Private school.
Yeah, that.
Yates
That's a Yates
Black
private school.
rock boys now, men.
Nah, I don't. No, to be fair, that culture of Rockwell wasn't in Yates. To be fair, the lads were actually dead sound. It was it was kind of it was as a whole. It was a bit toxic, I suppose. But
well, was it still toxic, even that you had it was a mixed school?
Mixed
in relation to like there was.
I think it was harmless in many ways. I think it was more lad humor colliding with, and I'm generalizing a bit, but this was my experience in the school. Boyish bit of crack, a bit of fun. That would come across as offensive to girls in some cases.
Yeah, but I wonder like what examples of that, because that can extend onto like the sort of stuff where go on. Sorry.
I remember one particular example. Now look, I'm also referring to myself. I remember I was talking to you see, there would be a lot of study sessions. You wouldn't be in class 9 to 4. You would have maybe about 4 or 5, in my case, about 4 or 5 1-hour classes, even if that, and then the rest would be study sessions. Then you would have after school study. So it was nearly like, it was kind of almost a small introduction to college, if you will. So anyway, my seat in the study hall, there was 2 girls who sat in front of me. Nice enough, they were fine. But they were talking about, what was it, footballers and how do they become famous? How do they become this? How do they become that? And I just interjected. I just kind of said, well, like, I don't know, a good chunk of them come from poverty. They have done nothing else with their life, and they're getting and they've devoted their life. Like, some of them have just sacrificed education. Some of them, they like, don't get me wrong, they get paid a ridiculous amount of money, but they devoted themselves to that. And then I said, to be cheeky, you should look at fucking Kim Kardashian. What did she do? Oh, sorry, she got boned by a fucking rapper. Then what? And of course, the lads laugh, and these 2 girls went off. They went, how could you say such a thing? I said, because it's true.
Yeah.
I said, because
I mean, that's what
I mean, her,
wasn't it?
like,
all right, Ali, I'm with you, but I'm also against you.
I'm the same.
We've had this discussion before. Because it's like... Go ahead, you go first.
We did have this. Oh fuck yeah, I was actually trying to remember. Like, don't get me wrong, her dad was the lawyer who represented O.J. Simpson. Fair enough. Maybe they had a bit of wealth.
Better,
a bit of wealth, which is not. I'd rather be boned than represent O.J. Simpson. But like when you say the words Kim Kardashian, you think of that video. Kanye West and. What's the name of their show? That stupid, pointless fucking show.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Ollie. Like, I get you. I get that you're annoyed. It's like, this is bullshit. Why is she famous? But like, also, she had to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, she saw this and went, "Oh fuck."
Oh I don't know the circumstance, but I don't know if your man just
what if there was a show called Keeping Up with the McKennas?
There just never would be, though, would there? There just never would be.
Ozzy Osbourne.
But Ollie, if you were the sex tape.
Ozzy Osbourne is the original, like.
Yeah, but he's fucking cool and he has talent.
Yeah, but see, there you go. Talent. He's talented. No, he's not. The whole show is just him going, Sharon!
No, but,
Sharon!
he did something before. He did something genuine before. He was one of the best. He was a fucking sick musician.
Yeah, but the thing
he was mental. He was sorry.
Do you log into that website every week?
What website? Come again, sorry.
The Hub.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously.
Well, then, like, do you know what I mean? It's the same thing as watching Ozzy Osbourne doing the concert. Really,
oh, man, you know what I mean. You're kind of... look. Nah, I'm sorry, I'm not accepting that.
You're right, but
can I just say something, right?
Go ahead.
I think Kim Kardashian just found a niche in the market in relation to TV. and she used that niche and she used the branding of herself, because Kim Kardashian is not like a person for a lot of people. She's very much a brand.
Yeah.
And the thing that Kim Kardashian is very good at is branding herself. And a lot of the success that people have in relation to popularity and kind of capitalizing off of themselves is how good they can advertise themselves and brand themselves, which is not like, maybe she's a creation of advertisers, but I'm not sure. I don't want to say that this is the case, but I'm still impressed that it's not solely towards a sex tape that she became famous. She's famous because of how branded she is, like, you know?
I'm saying it's one of the main things you would think of, though.
I feel for you, but I feel like a lot of people, it's not a lot of like, no, I'm not saying that as like a slag or anything like that, but I think the Kim Kardashian audience has a wider range than just us, which might recognize her first from being Kanye West's kind of like wife, and then having a sex tape and also being on the show. I think for other people.
Here's the thing: how did she get the show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, though? Like, what were the series of events that led up to that? Show?
Anyway, wait. Let me just. I feel like we're going to talk about this for too long.
Yeah.
I could be saying something very old-fashioned there, saying an adult actress. Oh, like, I kind of think, ooh, like that's. It's an accepted form of employment today, so there's that side to it too. I'm just linking back to the thing I kind of said to those two girls when I was 16, 17. And so anyway, I think we went way off topic. We just started talking about the Kardashians.
No, but I think that also like goes well, because if you're not experienced within that field, like let's say if you don't know much about like soccer or football, whatever you call it, and if you don't know much about, like, if you're not involved in watching reality TV shows or following celebrities' lives, a lot of these things you have a different perspective of. Like, let's say, for instance, those two girls that were in the study hall, they saw football players as just earning this amount of money and then being famous from, like, to them it's just kicking a ball. But when you have more understanding of that background, you can judge that person through all the other complexities that they have, like how difficult it may be to reach to that position. So I feel like if like, let's say I understood where Kim Kardashian was coming from, like if I had the whole background, then maybe I could appreciate more of what she was doing, you know? Similarly with those two girls in the study hall, maybe if they appreciated, like if they had more understanding of the two footballers and like soccer, they would have more appreciation of why these people get paid so much, and also how they get to that sort of stage, you know? It's just like a matter of perspective, like.
No, I'm not saying anything about, like, I don't know, just like people like Kim Kardashian or footballers now, but it's just like now increasingly, just as like time goes on, like people can get like famous for
the most stupid shit ever.
But it's almost luck if you're famous.
Like, no, it is.
It
is. A lot of it is luck.
You have like 14-year-olds going like, yeah, we got a TikTok house. Like, you know what I mean?
I spent $10,000 on V-Bucks.
Yeah, I get
to be fair, like, you know, it's one of those things like, I could have done that, but then they say, why didn't you? So, yeah, but you didn't.
But you did.
That's the
issue. I understand that, yeah.
And also, Kendall Jenner did end racism with that Pepsi ad. Like, can't. I'll admit that was outrageous. I was like, I can't believe that Pepsi went, this is it, like this is the ad that's gonna make like Coke go out of business. Like
that like ad was a fucking journey for me. Like I only discovered racism in that at the start of that ad, and then like it was solved at the end, and I was just like, whoa, this is like mad.
Lads, just for the record, I was only referring to a thing I said. Jeez, when we really went, like I was just talking about private school and all that, and you were saying to give examples.
Oh, Ollie, you're misogynistic. Chauvinist.
Fuck off.
Nah, we get what you mean.
I said something that wound them up that boys found funny. By the way, I don't give a fuck about Kim Kardashian. Wherever you are, love, good luck to you.
She's in her mansion.
Could you edit that one out? Could you edit that one out? That does make me sound like a fucking misogynist. I regret saying love.
She's
not
literally in her mansion, like fucking making millions. I don't think
she's looking at that swimming pool that no one swims in. Apparently, like just.
Oh, man,
she doesn't have a pool. Oh no, she doesn't have a hot tub.
What?
Does she not have a hot tub?
Do you ever see that the fucking clip of Emma? It's like, yeah, we have a pool, and it's like, and Kanye West is like, yeah, but you don't use the pool. And he's like, yeah, because we don't. Have, and he's like, yeah, because we don't have a hot tub. We don't have a hot tub. Can you believe that? Can you believe that?
Are they still? Wait, did something happen between them two?
I think they're in the midst of like divorce talks.
Right, okay, Jesus.
But anyway, we understand where you're coming from.
Jesus,
Ali,
right, okay, we went way off there.
Yeah, but your reaction, their reaction to the joke that you made.
The reaction to, like, I kind of said it. Look, I could give two shits about Kim Kardashian. I could give two shits about a footballer. They're both doing they've equity of millions upon millions. I pretty much, what I was linking back to is that it wound them up. It was quite funny, and they said, how could you say that when you compare this and this? And then I just kept egging them on with the joke. So that was an example of a joke.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, man, I realistically don't care. I just said that to kind of fuck with you a bit.
Just baiting people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good form of humor. I find. Like,
but
it's entertaining for me anyway. Like,
besides that, there was obviously, like a lot of people would think with private schools, they're designed to help you with your exams. You would think there's a lot of competition. I wouldn't say competition. That's not what I experienced. What I experienced was that a lot. It improved your work ethic by looking at others who just kind of sat there with their heads down. Because you know the way with De La Salle, you'd be sitting there, and like obviously we'd fucking go. You'd be in De La Salle in the study hall, and you'd hear someone drop a calculator. And you would look up with excitement because you knew what was going to follow. You would just hear a lot of people just go, "Way, way," and it was funny. It was funny. It kept the spirits up. It was funny. I remember when I first started at Yates.
Bully.
me and another friend who, a really good friend of mine who went there, we heard a girl. She made a really funny sneeze. Then, like 2 seconds later, dropped her calculator. We both just looked at each other with such glee in our eyes. No one said anything. And we were like, "Oh. Fuck."
So we
were just two dickheads kind of going like, "Oh, wait, oh no, I smoke, man." And like, we just kind of went, "Oh shit, yeah, no, we have to just kind of, yeah, why does that matter? Fuck."
Man, you just
remember being in the study hall and just like, all the teachers be at the top of the study hall with their backs turned, and next thing someone would just go, "Oh yeah."
Man, you just unlock such a memory.
Oh,
the level. Or another one people would do is you'd just be sitting there in silence, and next thing you hear just someone turn the fucking ignition on. You just hear, and especially when we were like junior cycle,
it was so funny.
The fifth years and sixth years were a different breed, and they'd be down the end just going. Another one, I'll stop talking after this. This one stands so clearly out in my mind in after school study, the year my juniors are. Yeah, I'm fucking one that, like, she was kind of like above a teacher. She was like in that between stage, like deputy and like a teacher.
Okay.
She was supervising, and lads were doing the thing like a fella dropped his calculator, and it was just that. And then she's like, "Lads, come on. And next thing she just hear, "Hey. And she's like, "Lads, if this keeps going on, there will be consequences." And then finally all you hear is like whistling. And she's like, "That's fine. Do it. See what you get out of it. Because guess what? There's so many people here, we'll never find you. So go for it." And next thing all she hears,
I was just about to say that.
Oh. And I'm pretty sure, Ali, the place didn't settle down after that.
No.
There was half an hour left. It was just.
Oh no! Do you know what it was? When it would be a Friday, when it was a Friday and it was 5:00, it chaos. Like you were just like, right, I am not getting much work done.
Checking out.
Kieran, you just. I remember I was in second year. So basically, how the study hall was laid out, you would have about 6 rows of tables going down straight.
Yeah.
So
each year in a row.
Yeah, it would go. So from left to right, it would go second year, third year, not fourth year, obviously, fifth year, and then 2 rows of sixth year or something like that. I don't even think that adds up. Anyway, roughly something like that. And I remember just looking over across at my brother, who was in sixth year. No, who was in fifth year. And he was just focusing on his work. Then one of his friends just like tapped him on the shoulder and he just whispered something to him. Then my brother whispered something to the fella in front of him. Then the fella in front of him whispers. So all these lads are whispering. Then all you hear is and then like this row of about 20 odd lads are just going and then the whole fucking study hall.
Another classic gag.
And I remember it was an art teacher who she wouldn't go, lads, come on. She would always go like this. So then everyone would just go back. Shh! And when 250 lads go shh to you, you are fucked. And she just...
You're done.
And she did the worst thing. She put her hands over her mouth and started fucking wetting herself laughing. And then that was it.
Oh, that's
For a full hour, that was it. No one settled. That was it.
I know it's off topic from what we started with, but you cannot speak of devilment in De La Salle without uttering the name El Shito.
Oh, please, Kieran, tell the story about
It is
Shito.
like a
For some
passage,
context,
a moment of time. So to define De La Salle's situation, there is 3 sets of toilets. The first and second year toilets, third, fourth, and fifth year toilets, and then 6th year toilets, I think, or it could have been second, third, fourth year toilets, and then 5th and 6th year toilets, thinking the first years. Anyway, so you basically didn't follow them. The only ones you didn't go into were the 6th year ones because you just get fucking killed if you went in there. So anyway, there was just one day a Banksy like figure just decided, you know what, I'm going to take a dump in my hand or on tissue and smear it on the doors of the toilets.
Oh my god.
So that happened and I was like, funny gag, who funny, haha, stinky, hilarious. So then the next thing, another Banksy like expedition. El Shito wrote in poo on the walls. Boom, hilarious, haha, poo funny. Name wrote in poo, hilarious. El Shito like El Barto from Simpson, haha, very funny. Then finally, like the climax to his like brilliant set of like gags was writing El Shito strikes again on the walls. There was shit all over the floor. He must have had accomplices. Like, there's no way one man could produce this much shit. So that happened. And then, like, it was like a copycat killer when a fella on the main stairs of De La Salle. Now, this thing is like
high foot traffic.
It is the motorway of the school. And he said, in the middle, the sea floor, there's 5 floors. On the sea floor, he said, it's time. And he pulled down his pants, took a shit on the stairs, and kept walking.
What?
He pulled up his pants and kept walking. Because there was no tissue paper.
I don't remember that one.
He shit on the stairs.
Oh, fuck off. I don't remember that one.
And he walked around with...
I remember hearing of that.
He walked around with Kate shit in his arse cheeks for at least minimum 5 minutes, maximum like an hour if you had a class after.
To be honest with you, if he's taking a shit on the stairs, I don't think he would care to go to the toilet during class time.
And like... that is
like
awful.
If his objective was to be like immortalized, like, you know what I mean, us talking about it now is just proven that, like,
what, nearly 8-9 years
everywhere.
I've told my brother about it, so that's another like 6
generation
years of like things. Do you know what I mean? Like of like people talking about it.
Yeah, our school is just known for like fucking pranks. So
Yeah,
to say. I
think-
remember.
Pranks.
I was just gonna say,
sorry lads, I just
pranks is just basically like assault, like in the middle of the
the
school
poor
corridor.
cleaners, the poor fucking cleaners.
Yeah, the poor cleaners.
Yeah. I remember my art school teacher told me though before I joined the secondary school, someone got there was like some fucking like hurling finals that were hosted outside of like this football field in front of the school, and someone the night before got a bucket of bleach, right, and bleached out a big massive cock in the grass. So the next day, these parents and this whole school from another county came down just to find a big cock on the grass.
That is vintage. That is vintage.
And it was like it was. She said it was like the proportions, like, you know, and it was like it was quite impressive that someone did that without actually having like an eagle eye view of the field.
Actually,
just they planned it out.
Yeah.
Just piggyback the El Shito. My brother told me about this. He's in De La Salle now. He's in 5th year now, but this is like when he was in 2nd or 3rd year. It was like, it's like the evolution of art, right? He was saying the toilets had gotten so bad that the cleaners refused to clean them. He said, Kieran, they don't even aim. They just piss on the floor.
That's awesome.
Shit.
Oh my god.
It got so bad that they had to get a cleaning service in, like an industrial cleaning service in. And they had to set up security cameras outside the toilet doors to see who was going in. And when an event, when ye old piss and shit event would go on, like, they have to call everyone who went in at that time into the office, like, interrogate them and find out if they did it. Like, it's like, what is the fascination with boys' schools and shit and like not putting it in the toilet? Like, why is that? Like,
I think it's just chimps' brain. Like, you
I
know,
think it's
like
a primal
monkey brain.
instinct.
Yeah. Well,
I think-
similar to the serial killers. I believe it's a primal instinct to smear your shit on any.
El Shito
smooth
is a
surface.
primal instinct.
El Shito is an art form. What are you saying?
Same thing.
That
isn't it?
school, like, that was just a prison, man. Like, that was a zoo, like.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. When I moved, like, you think that when I moved out of De La Salle in D8, I fucking missed De La Salle. I missed it.
Why did you miss De La Salle? Tell us the reasons. Because the thing is, like, we did this podcast, like an offline podcast version of this, when you weren't on, and we were talking about De La Salle and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we never got your perspective, like, on that.
Right.
Because, like, I wonder what you miss about that. Because, to be honest with you, like, I miss De La Salle for the banter.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
what I mean. Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like
Oh, it was
sometimes
awful.
it was just over the top, like.
When I say awful, I mean like the same way any school would be awful. I mean, like Yates, I look back on the laugh I had with a few of the lads and some of the girls, to be fair. But most of the girls actually, no, most of them were fairly sound, to be fair. But realistically, if you were to go back there for a week, you would come out of there running, just going like, yeah, fuck that, I don't want to go back. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, man, I remember just like seeing like De La Salle students like going to Tesco at lunchtime, and I was like, I just saw the uniform, I was like, nope, just like driving past, I was like, thank God I'm out of that place, like, you know, just.
So what I missed about it in De La Salle, you were guaranteed to have throughout the week, you were guaranteed safely 3 to 4 times to have tears in your eyes from laughing so hard, right? And it would lift your spirits, and you would be able to get on with your day. It would really lift your spirits. And just the general crack, the constant piss taking to blow off steam during work-heavy periods, during exams, practicals, you name it. With Yates, it was very much constant, full gas, fucking, what's the name of that interviewer? Full gas on the, what's his name?
All gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes. It was fucking all gas, no brakes. And the only way to blow off steam would be to get absolutely fucking smashed out of your head in town, get with women or guys, whatever your preference,
Whatever you prefer.
And then come back in the next week like a fucking businessman who had just taken cocaine and go, right, time for work. It was that kind of template. But
Jesus Christ.
thankfully, I had a friend. One of my best mates was there with me, God, I won't name drop unless he ever comes on. His name is also Owen. I'll just do that. I won't name his last name. But God, fucking thank God he was there, because me and him, we made each other laugh constantly, fucking constantly, but it still wasn't the same communal thing. Like, I remember there would be, let's say there was an extremely tough period during the school. Your anxiety is through the fucking roof. You're starting to lose your shit a bit. We would sit next to each other and study. Now you're thinking, isn't that suicide? You won't get any work done. You'd be right. We wouldn't. Well, actually, no, it'd be a mixed. But for a lot of the part, no. And what we would do is we would write shit on each other's books to make each other laugh. Because it was dead silence, like a library. Mm-hmm. And I remember this individual, who was rather large, told me to shut up. Because, to be fair, I couldn't stop giggling like a little child. And I just wrote on my friend's page, F off, you cow. And then he just went, oh, for fuck's sake. And then there'd be, like, it would just be as brutal humor as you like, just written on these sheets. And we would be, red, veins sticking out of the side of your head, tears flowing in your eyes. And then it would get to the point where you would have to get up and go to the toilet to take a 10-minute breather, because you were like, I'm gonna end up fucking up here. I'm gonna end up bursting out laughing and getting in shit. But what I just miss is, I miss the general crack where it'd be like, oh, you would have one heavy moment where the whole class would be laughing, then you would keep going.
Like, just like, it's a quite tame compared to De La Salle, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it would kind of make you think like, oh, like, you know, just depending on what like social scene you're in, like the idea of humor is like it's almost very dependent on, like, you know, just the way of thinking of the community you're surrounded in. You know, it's just.
I just want to apologise, new fans. I've been given I have a new puppy. That's whoever's listening, and I've been given the job of managing him because I work all day, so I don't really see him. So do you want
to bring him in and just sit him on your lap or something?
He's sitting there now. I gave him my hat. He's gonna tear that to bits.
Let him chew on it.
He'll get
What's his name again?
Ringo.
Star. Why is he called Ringo? Ringo Starr. Oh yeah.
After Ringo Starr, yeah, because no, yeah, I wanted Pepper, but I think Ringo is a better.
That's a fucking cool name for a dog, to be fair. Or human. Ringo's just a cool name.
I also have it's on my dinner, but I can postpone that. But the dog cannot be postponed.
Have you already
pissing everywhere at the moment? Like,
what?
Have you already fallen in love with the kid? Oh, sorry.
Two questions there. Yeah, I have Ali. I've been wanting a dog for about 9-10 years now, and I finally got one because of lockdown. Actually, because we got one because we can be at home with him. Because we always felt too mean to like leave a dog at home all day. So it's just ideal. Because nice. Even if we do go back to normal at some point, he'll be at least minimum 7 or 8 months old then. So he'll be a bit raised, older. Yeah. And then, Owen, to answer your question, he was in the nights. He does because we don't get up to let him out, even though we should. But he shits on like Joe's pee pads.
Yeah, no, they're a great training age. They're.
I think that's hilarious that he knows like that's the toilet. Like that is hilarious to me.
When we were raising our dog Kieran, I remember I left like a copybook on the floor, and my dog took a shit on my copybook because she thought it was a pee pad.
Or maybe your dog was just like, fuck school, man. I want to fucking learn.
I'm not going to eat this. It's not worth my time. I'm going to just fucking squat one out.
My owner's a freaking nerd who studies books and reads and all that.
All I care about is pussy and getting fucking chow.
Yeah, just getting coked off your head going into... just going into
Yates. Do you know what? Actually, you reminded me of a story. Towards the end of it, you go to Yates basically for 5th and 6th year to leaving cert school, just for the record. And at the end of my 5th year, there's these two lads who are, to be honest with you, they were quite geeky, yet when you would chat to them, they just came across as like, you know, like lads, like, you know what I mean? They would be like proper like, hey, like, you know, but they seemed quite geeky. At the same time, when I say geeky, that's such a stupid term to use. They were good academically.
SWAT spot.
Nah. Well, everyone was a SWAT. And to be
That's
honest,
the thing. That's what would happen. Like someone actually cares about their education, and in
SWAT.
that style, they just, oh, boy, he's actually some SWAT. He's no crack.
Like, definitely there was people abusing me, like, behind my back saying, oh, he's some fucking SWAT, like, or some shit.
Like,
you know what I mean?
who cares? Like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, who cares? Like, honestly.
So, I remember it was towards the end. It was summer. We were in study. There's like a room that 6th years go in, and there's a room that 5th years go in. But there's like a double open door that connects the two, so it's fairly open. And these two lads come in half an hour late. Sorry, stumble in half an hour late, and everyone kind of looked. It was like, maybe he tripped or something. Fuck it. But I remember he kind of just sat in the back, and we were like, that kind of smells like weed in here. Kind of smells like fucking weed. Oh, a bit of drink there too. As it transpired, and he just slept. I remember looking at him every now and then. He just slept throughout the entire session. He turns out him and his mate went to the Masons. They went to Masons.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
which
Masons
is a 30-second walk from Yates, may I just add, which is a bar in town. Yates was in town. We were right next to Masons. They got fucked. They necked. I think the rumored consistent number seemed to be 8 pints and a joint each. Apparently they just went. They obviously talked about it. It's like, there has to be at least one study session that we're fucked up for. And you know what? Fair enough. It's funny. It makes a funny story.
Yeah.
So they came in and they just slept there, and it's just very funny because I remember everyone could just. Obviously, some of those people who never touched weed in their life would have been just like, "What's that smell?" But then you'd be like, then there would be the odd person who would go, "Oh, I know
Bang again.
there's no baggy in here, right?" But that was a funny story you just reminded me of anyway. So kind of went off the topic there.
That kind of reminds me of, I think, Owen, you probably explained it best because you sat in front of him, or or a bit behind him. I'm not sure. Matthew, I'm not gonna. I was about to name drop there.
Yeah.
Matthew X, whatever.
Yeah.
There's a guy in our English class, and at the time there was Cheltenham races going on, right?
Yeah, man. Oh, it was so fucking funny. Like, it was just, like, people just, like, all the hurling lads would just be putting, like, and I assume some of the rugby lads as well would be just putting on, like, bets on, like, Cheltenham, and I think it was, like, the main race is coming up, so, like, there'd be good odds on it, and next thing, the race was to run at, like 2 or something, and next thing, Matthew had a fucking, like, headphone in, and he had, like, his jumper on the desk, right? And next thing, just his phone, like, just, like, right in front of the jumper, so the teacher couldn't see it from the top of the class. And next thing, I was just looking, I was like, what do you want? It's like, oh, lads, a fucking few bob on this. Like, and I was just like, all right, okay. And next thing, I was just like, taking notes or whatever. And next thing, I just could not concentrate. I just hear it just behind me, just like, go on. Next thing, I just hear next thing, like, a minute later, I just feel the desk, like, shaking behind me. And next thing, the teacher goes like, Matthew, are you watching Chelsea? And I said, nah, miss. No. And next thing, she was just like, you better not be now. And next thing, just like taps me on the back, and says, Lally, like, won a handy few bob on that. Like, I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like,
Did you end up finding out how much he won?
I think he got good odds on him, like, I think 7-1 or something. Like, Jesus. You know what I mean? But, like, but pretty good.
Decent payout.
Great. Will we leave it like that for this week's podcast, so we don't create like an hour and a half episode of us rambling about? I think this is like a perfect time. How long has it been, Ollie? Do you know how long?
1 hour and 3 minutes.
I mean, an hour is 60 minutes, perfect for people trying to handle this, so we'll leave it like that. We're not going to make Joe Rogan episodes that are 4 hours long, just being like talking about DMT and shit.
Shall we sign off?
Zebras are weird, man. They're like striped and like horses. It's just like, yeah, Joe. Like,
you're eating pure muscle.
You're eating a fucking athlete when you eat elk. Okay, Joe. Yep.
All right, Joe.
All right,
take your
Joe.
pills.
Say ah, Joe. Say ah.
Sure. See you next week. I don't know if the same if there's going to be the same amount of people next episode, but the amount of people might change because a lot of us have college going on in our lives, and some people have shit to do. So at times there might be a different like array of people on. But
all that
it was
nonsense.
a good it was a good first start, and thanks for coming on, lads.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, see you, lads.
See you.
Yurt.
See ya.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye.